Mr. Ajay took a loan of 5,000 on 20th January 2010 and the repair and repaid rupees 5,080 on 1st April 2010. Find the simple interest rate. So we have not solved such problem until now where we are finding the rate of simple interest. We have found the principal, we have found the simple interest. Now this problem is where we'll find the R. So the rate of simple interest will be found here. So let us start. Whatever is given to us, we will have to write that first. So Ajay took a loan of 5,000. So he had taken a loan of 5,000, which means the principal is rupees 5,000, and he had taken the loan on 20th January 2010, and he repaid rupees 5,080. Now the repayment will be along with the interest. So that will become amount. So amount will be rupees 5080. Amount is nothing but principal plus interest. So amount is 5080. And he repaid that when? 1st April 2010. So we do not know the R here. We are supposed to find out R. So we know P, we know T, we know A, but we don't know R. Now, whenever you have P and A, that is principal and amount, you will be able to calculate the simple interest amount. Now, how do we do that is, simple interest is equal to amount minus principal. So, he had repaid rupees 5,080, but what was the principal? 5,000 was the principal. So therefore, the simple interest amount will be 80 rupees. Correct? So just by seeing the repaid amount minus the original loan, we are calculating the interest amount. So now we have almost all the information except R. Now let us put all of this information into the simple interest formula and we will find out the R. So the simple interest formula goes like this. Simple interest is equal to PTR by 100. Now for this, let us start putting all the numbers. Now, simple interest, what is the value of simple interest? 80 rupees is equal to, you can write rupees 80. Principal is 5,000 into time we have to calculate from 20th January till 1st April. Now from 20th January, if you consider 20th January to 31st January. Excuse me. So calculate the time. Now in January, we have 31 days. So January, you will have, okay, before going to this, let us calculate the time here. So January, you'll have 31 days. So 31 minus 20. How much do you get? Say it in the number of days. Later we will convert that to the year. Okay. So 31 minus 20, you will get 11 days. Then January, February 2010, is it a leap year? You have to check that also. No, 2010 is not a leap year. So February 1st to 28, that will be 28 days. Then March 1st to 31st, 31 days. Then April 1 is not considered. Since we have considered the other part, that is January we have considered. So April 1st we will not consider. So it's only till March 31st. Now how many days did you get here? 11 plus 28 plus 31. 99 days. How come 99 days? It is 70 days, right? From where did you get 99? So he has taken loan on 20th Jan. He repaid it on 1st April. Okay. So that will give us a total of 70 days. Now for 70 days, 70 divided by 365, how much do you get? Divide and say me the value. So once you get 70 days, 70 divided by 365 days, you'll get 0.1917. So if we round this off, can we say 0.2 years approximately? That 9, 0.19, right? So this 9 I have rounded off. So I've taken 0.2 years. Okay, so that is our time. 0.2 years is our time. Now let us go back to the problem of simple interest and let us calculate. So 80 rupees is the simple interest is equal to principal is 5,000 into we don't know the rate of interest into the time is 0.2 years divided by 100. Right? Now, this 100 can be taken to the other side. If you take 100 to the other side, it's going to become 80 into 100 is equal to, now find out 5,000 into 0.2. 5,000 into 0.2. This will give us 1,000 into R. So 80 into 100 will give us 8,000 is equal to 1,000 into R. So 8,000 by 8,000 divided by 1,000 is equal to R. So therefore, R is equal to 8%. Correct. R is equal to 8%. So this is how we solve the problem whenever they have given, whenever they have not given the percentage. But be careful with the timing that you are considering. Understood? Any doubts in this question? Great. Then let's go to the next question. Next, a person deposited rupees 12,500 on June 20, 2010. If it amounts to rupees 12,700 on September 1st, if it amounts to rupees 12,700 on September 1st, 2010 at simple interest, find the rate of interest. Now this is again a rate of interest problem. It's very similar to the previous problem. So let us start solving it directly. Now what is given to us? Principal is 12,500. So a person deposited 12,500 somewhere. Let's say he's put it into bank account. Okay. And it is on June. The time is June 20th, or you can first write the date. 20 June 2010 is the date. Okay. And that has grown to 12,700 by 1st September 2010. Okay, and we don't know what is rate of interest, but we can find out the simple interest by amount minus principal. So what is amount? 12,700 minus 12,500. So interest is 200 rupees. That is the simple interest. Now let us calculate the time here on the other side. Now on for June, 72 days you are getting, Spurti? Good. So June will be 30 days. So 30 minus 20. 10 days in June. June, 10 days. Then July, 31 days. All 31 days will be considered. August, 31 days. Now, since it is September 1st, either we have to leave one day here or one day in the starting, right? So we are leaving the last day. So now calculate how many are there. 31 plus 31 plus 10 days. So we get 72 days. Now 72 days, if you convert that to year, that is 72 divided by 365. How much do you get? You again get 0.2, 0.2 years. That minute change with 71, 72, I'm talking about that 0.19 to 0.2, that is fine. Okay, little difference here and there, that is fine. But you should not have too much of difference in the decimals also. Okay, again it is 0.2 years. Now using simple interest formula, let us calculate the rate of interest. Simple interest is equal to PTR by 100. So here if you see, you have principal is how much? 12,500 into time is 0.2 years into rate of interest we don't know, divided by 100. But then we had a simple interest, right? So how much was the simple interest? Okay, let me write it down or a little to the other side. So simple interest was 200, 12,500 into 0.2 into R divided by 100. So 200, take it to the other side. It will become 1, 2, 3, 4. 20,000 is equal to 12,500. 12,500 into 0.2 will give us 2,500 into R. So 20,000 by 2,500 is equal to R. Therefore, R is equal to 8%. Very good. So this is our answer. R is equal to 8%. Clear? Yes, 8% is the right answer. Now let's go to the next problem. One here also we'll be finding the rate or the percentage, but okay, wait. I think this is a different one. Yeah. In what time? Now we have completed our percentages problem. Now here we'll be calculating the time limit. Now in the previous problem, they were giving us the time limit, saying starting on 1st Jan to April, September to December, like that. Now here we will be calculating within how many days, months or year the amount is gonna grow. Okay, so that is the type of problem. Let us start. In what time will rupees 800 amount to 896 at 6% simple interest? So here they have given us the principal, that is 800 rupees. They have given us the amount, which is 896 rupees. And they have given us the rate of interest, that is 6%. So we know the interest amount also. So apart from that, we'll have to find out the number of days, that is T. So let us write what all is given to us in the first case. So solution given is principal is rupees 800, amount is rupees 896, then R is 6%. We don't know what is T. T is not known. But since we have principal and amount, we will be able to calculate the simple interest, that is principal, sorry, that is amount minus principal, which is 896 minus 800, which will be 96 rupees. So we have so much data with us. Now let us apply the simple interest formula, PTR by 100. Now let us apply everything. Simple interest is rupees 96 is equal to principal is 800. We don't know the time. Percentage is 6%. Whole divided by 100. Okay, you've got T as 2 years. Good, Spurti. Correct answer. Take the 100 to the other side. So 9600 is equal to 800 into 6. How much do you get? 4800 into T. So 9600 by 4800 is equal to T. Therefore, T is equal to, divide 9600 divided by 4800. You will get 2 years. Usually it will be in the form of years only. So the time is 2 years. Understood? Did you understand how to find the time? Good. Now we'll solve one more problem, one more similar problem, so that you are more confident about solving it. In what period will 8,000 amount to 10,400 at 12% per annum simple interest? When they're asking in how many days, how many time, what period, what is the time, years, months, anything what they ask, in all that, it means that you are supposed to find out the time period. So here, solution, whatever is given to us. Principal is 8,000. Amount is 10,400. Okay. R is 12%. We don't know what is time. And we can find the simple interest by subtracting amount from principal. So this is going to be 10,400 minus 8,000. How much do you get? 2,400 is the simple interest. Now apply the simple interest formula, PTR by 100. Now solve it. 2,400 is equal to 8,000 into T, we don't know, into R is 12%, whole divided by 100. So 100 going to the other side. 2,400 into 100 is equal to 8,000 into 12. Okay, T is 25 years or 2.5 years. Check once again the calculation. 8,000 into 12, which is 96,000. Okay, it's 25 years. Okay, good. Into T. So 240000 is equal to 96,000 T. 240000 divided by 96,000 is equal to T. So you are supposed to get 2.5 years. How did you get 25 years? Be careful with the zeros. Be careful with the multiplication and division. You should get 2.5 years. Now, did you all get 2.5 years? Good. Understood, right? Can we go to the next question? Okay. Now, the next type of question, a businessman borrowed 20,000 in total from two banks. So, one person is borrowing 20,000 from two banks. The cost, sorry, the first bank charges the first bank charges 18% per annum interest, simple interest, and the second bank charges 16% per annum simple interest. The total interest paid for the first year is rupees 3,440. How much does he borrow from each bank? So totally he has borrowed 20,000, where he is paying to the first bank 18% interest and he is paying to the second bank 16% interest. Totally, if he has paid 3,440 rupees interest for first year, now we are supposed to inform, or we are supposed to calculate and show them how much is borrowed from bank number 1 and bank number 2. So that is the question. 20,000 is borrowed from two banks and each bank is charging different type of interest. But together he has paid 3,440 as the interest amount. So they're asking us how much he has taken loan from each bank. Did you all understand the question? Now let us start the answer. Whatever is given to us, we have a principal of 20,000, but we'll have to do some derivation. So instead of this, let us go for the derivation. Now here, since we are supposed to find the amount from bank number 1 and bank number 2, so principal borrowed from first bank, let us take it as X. Okay, principal borrowed from first bank, we'll take it as X. Therefore, principal borrowed from second bank will be rupees 20,000 minus X. Why 20,000 minus X? If you see here, the total amount is 20,000. Now, from the total amount of 20,000, if I subtract the first bank's loan amount, I will get the second bank's loan amount. Correct? So instead of subtracting, or instead of sorry, taking the total amount and then subtracting the principal of the first bank, we will be able to arrive at principal of the second bank account. So these are the main derivation. Now, since these are in a simple interest, they are charging simple interest, let us use the simple interest formula, that is PTR by 100, and let us try to calculate the interest rate, or interest rate is given, let us try to calculate the interest amount. Fine. So for the first bank, the principal for the first bank is rupees X. So the principal for the first bank is rupees X into the time of the bank. The total interest paid for the first year. So it is only for 1 year. The time, how do we check? If you see here, the total interest paid for the first year is 3440. So which means it's only for 1 year. So time is 1 into rate of income will be 18%. Rate of income is 18% divided by 100. Now, if you simplify this, you get 18x by 100. So if you divide 18 by 100, how much do you get? You get 0.18, and I'll have that x as it is. Did you understand this part, or you want me to repeat it again? Did you all understand? Yes? Good. So that was for first bank. Now similarly, let us calculate for second bank using the same formula. So for second bank, again PTR by 100. So the second bank, the principal is 20,000 minus X. Correct? So for the second bank, the principal is 20,000 minus X. Time is same 1 year, and interest is 16% per annum divided by 100. Now let us do the simplification. Now here you will have 20,000 minus X into 1 into 16 is 16 divided by 100. So 20,000 into 16, how much do you get? 3,20,000 minus 16x divided by 100. 3,20,000 by 16x divided by 100. Now divide 3,20,000 by 100, divide 16x by 100 also. So 3,20,000 divided by 100 is 3,200. 16x divided by 100 is 0.16x. I am dividing it separately. 3,20,000 divided by 100 minus 16x by 100. This is what we are doing. So we get the interest as, for the second bank, 3,200 minus 0.16x. Understood? Did you understand the derivation? Is it clear or you want me to repeat this part? Can we go for the next step? Good. Now, the next step is we know total interest paid, total interest paid is 3,440. So they said the total interest paid for first year is rupees 3,440. Now, if total interest together is 3,440, it means that 0.18x from the first bank plus 3,200 minus 0.16x from the second bank, both the interest, this is the interest which we calculated. If you see here, this is the simple interest which we have calculated in every place. So we are adding both the interest, which has to come to 3,440. Okay. Now here, let us do the simplification. Now we have got the complete equation. Now we have to do the simplification. 0.18x plus 3,200 minus 0.16x. Now we have 0.18x minus 0.16x. So if you minus these two, how much do you get? 0.02x. Correct? Here, this side you have to write 3440. X is equal to 12,000. Correct. Correct. Lakshmi, Sharath, all your answers are right. So plus 3,200 is equal to rupees 3440. So 0.02x is equal to, I take 3,200 on the other side. So 3,440 minus 3,200. 0.02x is equal to, how much do you get? 240 rupees. So x is equal to 240 divided by 0.02. So therefore x is equal to rupees 12,000. So we have found out the x only. Now we have to write the conclusion. Now what was x that we derived? The principal of the first bank was x. Correct? So we have found out x to be 12,000. Now let us find out the principal of the second bank also. So going to the conclusion part, therefore, principal excuse me, therefore, principal of or principal borrowed from first bank is rupees 12,000 and principal borrowed from second bank, that is 20,000 minus 12,000, which is rupees 8,000. So this is the required answer. Is it clear? Understood? Any doubts until here? Okay, good. Now that was the simple interest concept. So we have completed the simple interest concept. Now the next concept under this chapter is the compound interest. Now in compound interest, this is the interest which is calculated on the accumulated sum of the principal. Now in simple interest, we were only calculating the on the principal amount. Directly we will calculate the interest percentage for any number of years that is given. In compound interest, we are going to calculate excuse me, we are going to calculate the interest on the accumulated sum. Accumulated sum means, suppose for one first year, if the principal is 100 and we are calculating 10% interest, so for first year it will be 10 rupees. Now the balance, this is the principal. Now the amount after first year is 110. Correct? Now for the second year, in simple interest, we were calculating the interest again on principal. But in compound interest, we will be calculating the interest on the amount. Now in the second year, this amount will become principal. I'll repeat that again. Listen carefully. When it is simple interest, and say this is first year, we have 100 rupees as the principal. The rate of interest is 10%. So it is 10 rupees, right? So the amount here will be 110 rupees for first year. For second year, we will again calculate 10% on the principal and we will only add 10 rupees. So it will become 120 rupees. This is simple interest. So for first year it is 110, for second year it is 120. Like this, it will have very less interest. Now coming to the compound interest, for first year, if the principal was 100 rupees and the percentage of interest was 10, which means 10 rupees. So the total is 110. Now for the second year, this amount will become the principal. So for second year, we will be calculating 10% on this 110. So 10% on 110 will be 11 rupees and now they will have to pay 121. Now here it might be just 1 rupee difference, but then when you are taking or considering a bigger amount, the difference will be more from simple interest to compound interest. Is it clear? Did you understand? So in compound interest, it is not the direct principal, but it will be accumulated sum. This is the accumulated sum. Accumulate is adding together. So accumulated sum of the principal will be taken here from the previous value. So this is known as compound interest. Is it clear? Yes or no? Okay. Now, interest is said to have been compounded if the interest due at the end of a unit payment period is added to the principal and interest on next payment period is compounded on the new principal's principal. So here if you see 100 plus interest, now we are calculating the interest on 110 rupees for the next year. Now for the third year, we will calculate the interest on 121. This is something like your WDV method of depreciation. Whatever is left out, from that you will calculate the depreciation, right? Now here we are adding the interest. On that interest amount, you will calculate the next year's interest. On that total amount, you will calculate next year interest. On this total amount, next year interest will be calculated. So we are compounding, we are just adding, going on adding and multiplying the amount and the interest rate. So that is compound interest. Now there is a formula to calculate the compound interest. Instead of doing this big long process of doing the table, okay, which may be used in certain point of time, but we have a direct formula. Let us see what is that formula. So compound interest is equal to principal into 1 minus r divided by 100 to the power t. So you will have to the power t, that is the time, minus principal. First, you will use the principal to calculate the amount of the interest, and later you should subtract the principal so that you will get only the interest amount. We don't want principal plus interest here. We only want to know the interest amount, which is compounded. Excuse me. So that is the compound interest formula. There is one more formula to find out the amount. This is for the compound interest. Like how we had simple interest formula, this is compound interest formula. Now when it comes to the amount formula, so if we take out that principal, whatever we calculate here, p into 1 plus r by 100 into to the power t, this will be the total amount that has to be paid after n number of years. Suppose if you take 100 rupees loan now and they are calculating 10% compound interest. Okay, so after let's say 10 years, your amount will be calculated using this formula. Okay, so that will be the amount at the end of that particular year. Is it clear? This is the compound interest basic things that we are supposed to understand. Is it clear to everyone? Any doubts until here? Okay, good. So problems, we shall solve it in tomorrow's class.